Comrade officers, dear friends, I warmly welcome you and congratulate you on the successful completion of your studies. Today, following our tradition, we honor the finest graduates of our military academies, institutes, and universities. You have distinguished yourselves through exemplary performance in completing the programs of the educational institutions of the Ministry of Defense, the Ministry of Emergency Situations, law enforcement agencies, and the special services. You earned top marks in your specialized disciplines and demonstrated a high level of combat and professional training. I am confident that the knowledge, skills, and abilities you have acquired will enable you to become true commanders and thereby strengthen our officer corps and make a worthy contribution to ensuring the security of our country. On this solemn day, we are gathered in St. George's Hall of the Moscow Kremlin. It is here, in this historic place, that the finest warriors of our fatherland have always been honored, those who, sparing no sacrifice, fought for their homeland, for its freedom and sovereignty, and for the peaceful and secure life of our people. Today, Russian officers and soldiers are courageously and effectively carrying out their missions during the special military operation, liberating our historic lands and protecting our people. I am confident that you will prove worthy of the high rank of a Russian officer and will devote all your strength to upholding and advancing the glorious traditions of our armed forces. I would also like to emphasize that throughout your service, it is important to continue studying the achievements of military science and to grow professionally. As the distinguished military theorist General Mikhail Dragomirov observed, a leader devoted to his duty must continue learning, because without knowledge there can be no victory. Dear friends, you are about to begin your service and assume command of military units, formations, and larger formations. You are entering service at a difficult time. The current international situation is far from stable. Armed conflict in the Middle East continues unabated. The potential for conflict has increased significantly in a number of regions around the world, including across Eurasia. We see that whereas NATO countries previously limited themselves to supporting the Kyiv regime, which came to power illegally through an armed coup, they are now openly declaring in the West that they are preparing for war with us and are increasing their offensive military budgets. To justify such expenditures and the radical militarization of their states, the leaders of the European Union, as before, continue to use false claims about an alleged Russian military threat. The pattern of behavior of the so-called democratic West is very simple. First, they create threats to our country, forcing us to take the measures necessary for our own defense and self-protection. Then they immediately accuse us of every possible wrongdoing in order to justify the continuation of their aggressive policies and aggressive actions against Russia. We know all of this very well. It is all too familiar to us. Even after the treacherous attack on the Soviet Union on June 22, 1941, indeed, a treacherous attack, the West, led by Nazi Germany, tried to accuse the USSR and Stalin of aggression against what we now call the collective West. Remarkably, such claims are still entertained in certain pseudo-academic circles to this day. I would like to emphasize that Russia consistently advocates equal and indivisible security for all. We are convinced that this can only be achieved by creating a multipolar system of international relations that reliably guarantees the military security of every state. At the same time, we are prepared to respond promptly and appropriately to any external or internal pressure. In accordance with the state armament program, the nuclear triad, the ground forces, and the combat capabilities of the aerospace forces and the Navy are being systematically modernized. I would particularly note that since the beginning of the special military operation, many types of weapons have undergone qualitative development. I will mention just one figure. Over the past year, more than 1,000 models of weapons and military equipment were tested under combat conditions. These included unmanned aerial vehicles with improved guidance systems, loitering munitions, robotic systems for various purposes, and much, much more. At the same time, a real-time, operational exchange of information has been established between frontline troops and defense enterprises. The feedback channels that have been created make it possible to collect data on the effectiveness of weapons and equipment and to take into account the assessments of the servicemen who use them on the battlefield. I emphasize that all of this, and this is especially important, is being done on the basis of our own domestic scientific and technological foundation. It is the result of the work of our own scientists, designers, engineers, and workers. It is fully supported by the necessary budgetary funding made possible by Russia's stable and resilient economy. However, of course, no achievements in the production of the most advanced means of armed warfare can replace the courage and professionalism of our soldiers. The principal component of success in the special military operation is the military collective, the fighting units themselves. Their leading and guiding force has been, and remains, the officer corps. As Peter the Great once aptly put it regarding the army, every officer in it is like the soul in the human body. It is military leaders and commanders who serve as examples of military honor and valor for their subordinates. Therefore, we will continue to consistently raise the prestige and social standing of the officer corps as the foundation of the armed forces, both today and in the future. Dear comrades, important responsibilities also lie ahead for those officers who are about to join the ranks of the Federal Security Service, FSB, the Ministry of Internal Affairs, the National Guard, the Ministry of Emergency Situations, EMERCOM, the Federal Bailiff Service, the Investigative Committee, the Military Prosecutor's Office, and the Federal Penitentiary Service. We see that these agencies have made significant progress in many areas of their work. It is necessary to continue consolidating and developing all these positive trends, to fight terrorism, corruption, and crime resolutely, and to uphold the rule of law, constitutional and public order, and the rights and interests of our country's citizens. And of course, it is important to continue supporting our servicemen in carrying out the special military operation and to assist in strengthening security in Russia's newly liberated historical regions. I am confident that each of you will do everything necessary to protect and ensure the prosperity of your homeland, will serve as a steadfast pillar of the state and society, and will prove yourselves worthy heirs to the great military deeds of our fathers, grandfathers, and great-grandfathers. I would like to thank your commanders, teachers, and mentors, and everyone who generously shared their knowledge and experience with you and helped you achieve such outstanding results. And of course, my warmest and kindest wishes go to your families and loved ones. Once again, I congratulate you and all the graduates of the military universities and academies of the class of 2026 on completing your studies. I wish you every success.